Hey guys, this is Elizabeth with eBeth Art, and today I'm back with part 2 of my tips I wish I knew as a beginner digital artist video. And so in this part 2 video, I'll be sharing tip 3 and tip 4 with you guys. So stay tuned, let's get started. Okay, so the third tip I would really like to share is use simple shapes to learn human anatomy. And this is something, since I'm into character art, I did learn it earlier down the line, but it's something I wish I would have known from the beginning because it obviously made things so much easier, and I use it literally every time I draw people, which is every day. So I just want to give you guys an example of what this looks like. I could do an entire video, maybe even an entire series or whatever, on this one in particular because there's so much that goes into it. You know, it's even how the professionals do it when they make characters and draw, and so there's obviously a lot that goes into it, but it's really not complicated either. So here you see me drawing, and this is just, I'm kind of just going through the motions because I do this so much and I don't really think about it much anymore. But you may be, if you're a beginner, you may be wondering, even if you've looked at some of my other videos, you're probably like, what is she doing when she first does her sketch layer? And so, yeah, I'm going to stop here for a second. So you saw me draw that, and I'll do a little bit slower. So when you're drawing a person, whether you're doing it in realism or as a cartoon, in order for you to perfect the human anatomy, you need to know what we're made out of. And if you break down any image, you can usually break it down into a shape. Like obviously some things like picture frames are naturally square or rectangle or round. Humans aren't just one shape, but they have shapes within us. So here you can see I made the head and the torso region of a body. So when I started drawing, I made a circle for the head because that's obviously one of the most iconic shapes on all of us. Everyone has a round head, sort of, but basically round. So yeah, this would be like the temple region, this would be like the nose. So then I draw a line through it, and this is going to help us find the jaw and the location of the eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. So once I've drawn a line down the middle, I'll bring 2 lines from the side. Then I'll usually come in like this to make the jaw. And then I didn't draw one over here on this one, but usually you make a line right about here to locate the nose, and you might make another line around here to locate where the eyes are supposed to be, and then below you can have the mouth. And about right here is where you make the shapes for the ears. And you can see how using lines and circle, you just made a head. And it may not be exactly anatomically correct at the moment. And this is something you tweak and change as you go through the different sketch layers. That's why there's usually so many when you're doing something. Like the more cartoon you are, probably the less perfecting you're going to do, but it all depends on your style and taste. Okay, so after you've drawn the head and the shapes for this, you're going to bring down a shape for the neck here, 2 lines like that. And I want to note that everything I'm doing here, like, it's not going to be the same every time. Like I said, your style, your taste, the way you draw. Some people naturally draw people with skinny necks. I mean, if you watch Phineas and Ferb as a kid, you can see that. And Phineas and Ferb is a great example of how artists don't always stick to these shapes, obviously. In cartoons, not everyone has a round head, but it's a great example of how artists utilize shapes to create people and cartoons. And yeah, so, and also talking about how it's not going to be the same every time. Usually if you're drawing a guy, the neck is going to be much wider here. So this could definitely turn out to be a guy the way I've drawn him. You're probably going to make the neck a little bit smaller, like to about right here, if it's going to be woman. Okay, so after you've drawn the neck, you're going to probably make a straight line or something on the lines of this. Okay, And this is going to give us the like chest, sternum area. And then again, this is another thing that the size and all that is going to depend on who and what you're drawing. So you're going to come out to the point you want, and you're going to make it into a shape much like a square, most likely. And torso is going to be a little different. You see this one I did over here is a little bit more curvy, a little bit more feminine. Like usually if I'm doing something pretty feminine, it'll come in like this. See, that will be a little bit more hourglass shaped. If you're doing a guy, you're going to have a little bit of that shape. You obviously don't want him to look like a brick wall, but you're going to make it a lot less curvy, most likely. So after you've done this shape, you're probably going to bring down, come out a little bit like that. So you got the upper torso, the lower torso, and you're probably going to come out like this. And then you're going to make this area. Yes, and then you usually do like a triangle shape right here. So as you can see, you keep coming down, you make shapes. Comes like the legs, and then you just keep going. And yeah, so arms, you know, obviously, yeah, I'm not the great at arms, but you know, it's just an example. You can see how I use shapes to do that, and a lot of people will actually do like that to give more dimension and depth. And you know, when you're doing I forget what that's called. Well, I forgot that word, but yeah, and you use shapes all the time. It's not just for the body. You also use shapes when creating, you know, like structures of hair. You know, see like that. Like they may not be as much traditional shapes, but you know, that's something like that was very simple to learn and to teach. And you know, you obviously have to do a lot of practice and study for yourself. But I remember the first time I tried it and I was just like going nuts because like, wow, this actually works. And yeah, so this is a tip that I probably should have made number one because I feel so strongly about it that even if you're not a character artist, I mean, if you draw backgrounds, you know, illustrations in general use shape so much, especially when drawing rooms and areas and even landscapes. I mean, this is something you're going to use a lot if you're in any medium. So yeah, I highly recommend that you use simple shapes to learn human anatomy. So the fourth tip I would like to share with you all is don't be afraid to use drawing references. Drawing references helped me so much when I first started drawing people, especially when I started, I was trying to do more realistic stuff, whereas now I'm doing cartoony. And either way, what you do, no matter what medium or what style, using drawing references can help you so much. So something I want to show you with this app that I use is if you click up here, this picture, and they give you quite a bit of, here you have to let it connect, but they give you like patterns and such, but they also give you like backgrounds. So here they have anime backgrounds. So they don't have people on here, but they do have all these different pictures of like rooms, classrooms. So if you have a hard time drawing backgrounds, I recommend when you're doing your practice sketching, so let's just choose one here. When you're doing your practice sketching, pick one of these, and you can download one from Google or take one from inside your app. Obviously, do not take anything that isn't your own. So you can put it in here, make a new layer that can go over it. You might want to lower the opacity of the original drawing. Come in on this one, and you can like start tracing or drawing over it. Okay, let's grab this pencil. Here you can see, and like just draw. You don't have to make super straight lines, just kind of make a basic idea, and you can just draw in these walls. Just obviously I'm not doing it very well, I'm just trying to give you an example, and just kind of kind of trace it so you have, and then take out this layer right here. So you can kind of see, and you can practice drawing things and getting room perspectives and making backgrounds. And this is a great tool that I really suggest that you do, because it can just save you a whole lot of time, and you can switch things up. You know, just because your drawing has a window right here doesn't mean you have to keep it as a window. You can keep it as a wall, or maybe you add like curtains or something, add flowers, decorations. You know, you can still make it your own. I just thought that was something really cool that this app has, and I'm pretty sure you can have it with Procreate or um, a lot of other apps on the App Store I've seen have this option where they already have images in here for you. And if not, you can always grab anything from Google or something. If you're going to like try and claim it as your own, I mean, I'd be very careful, because it is still tracing. This isn't really meant to be stolen or as a cheating method, but it's more to teach and train your eyes and your mind, kind of like the anatomy of a building, if you will. So yeah, there's something I wanted to show you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found these tips helpful as a beginner artist. And if you have not seen part 1, I suggest you go watch that as well to get some more tips. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.